Welcome back to the ISBC podcast. We're on episode 9 and we're talking about social media. Of course, if we're talking social media, we have to get our resident guru back, Marcel Moraes.
I'm back. Yeah, happy to be here, mate. Thank you for the invite.
We are talking about getting traction. We're talking content choices, quality, and cross-platform promotion today.
All very important things.
Let's start with not getting traction. So if someone comes to you and they say, look, I'm doing these videos, I'm putting up posts, I'm doing whatever, and I'm just not getting the traction that I want, what would you say to them?
Look at your content. First thing is obviously content. The reality is on social media these days, right, you're not competing with people in your class if you're a student.
Yes.
You're not competing with people in your city. You're competing with everyone on the internet for attention. That's what you fight for. So I would say if you're not getting traction, have a look at your content. Firstly, is it relatable? Does anyone look at your content and think, oh, that's a bit of me. I'll drop a like, I'll tag or send it in DMs or whatever. So if that's not happening, it's obviously your content. And if your content is good and you can verify that with another source or with, whoever else can give you their opinion, if your content is good and you're still not getting traction, it's the structure of your content.
Okay.
These days, if you go through TikTok right now, how long do you reckon you spend on one video before you scroll through?
Well, I mean, it varies widely, but
between 1 and 4 seconds.
Yeah,
yeah, it's
pretty
not
much
quick. So, it's not long. You don't spend too long. Like, it is very, very quickly. So
until I find something that grabs me, and I will sit there and I'll watch the whole thing.
Exactly.
Maybe even 2 or 3 times. But you've really only got that very short window at the beginning to get my attention.
And I think the reason for why you watch certain ones and not others is because they have hooks. They keep you engaged. Like, if I'm scrolling through it in the first 2 seconds, if you want to watch a video on getting traction, how about this for a hook, right? I'll give you a live example. So if you scroll through TikTok, bing, 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 you see a couple of dances, whatever, and then you see something come up, bang, you want to be a content creator and you're only getting 50 views? Listen up. I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in. You know what I mean? So it's all about the hook. Can you get me in the first 2 seconds?
Yes.
Am I sticking around? You got to work on your hooks. So that is very important. And obviously, content choice in 2023, you're fighting with everyone. Yeah. Everyone's got good ideas. What's going to make it different?
So let's assume that someone has good content. They've figured out a reasonable structure. How do the different platforms contribute to getting traction? Yeah.
Well, the beautiful thing is all of these platforms like video. So if you're doing your content and you have like a catchy headline, like if you just spoke about news last episode, so if you got a good headline and you want to get that across, try to put it in video format. Try to even have it on text, even if it's a quiet video, just have that on the screen. But algorithmically, videos perform better. They have people on the screen for longer, which means platforms want them to be shared more. There's more demand than supply, if you can imagine that, for video content. Like, it's ridiculous. Platforms, it's also an ecosystem thing. Meta like the same things on their different platforms.
Yes.
So if you're automatically sharing through Instagram and Facebook, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You got to consider what the platforms want, what the viewers want. People on TikTok want something quick, something funny. That's it.
Yeah.
Instagram, you probably want something quick, funny, but colorful. And like, it looks good on camera.
Yeah, aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Facebook probably wants it in a link because they're more likely to click on a link to see a website, right?
Okay.
And then you go to YouTube, people are more likely to watch with audio on, long form, so you got to take into consideration, and I think I said it last time, where are you placing your content matters.
Yeah. Now, you would remember this. You've run a student radio station yourself. You don't have all the time in the world to be able to go and create video after video after video.
No.
So if they're not creating video, what sort of posts are going to get them the best return?
You can probably do a static tile. They still get a lot of returns. I mean, if you look at it at a macro scale, if you post 100 tiles and 100 videos, the videos are probably going to do better. But if you're in a situation where you can't physically turn around a video, or you can't get someone to act out a piece of content for you, you can probably do a tile and get it out. The content is the same. The wording is the same. It's a clear, you can still use it as a vehicle to essentially push traffic to your website. So you're still checking all the boxes. And in terms of your KPIs, if you have those, you're still getting interaction on your platforms. So you can do a static tile, you can do a video. You can also do story content just with your phone, just do a bit of behind the scenes content with a link to the website. There's another way to push traffic. And then obviously you can also do live streams.
Obviously, a much simpler way of getting video out there is through stories and through reels.
Yes. Yep.
Do you rate those highly?
Yeah, I think people like a bit of homemade action. You know what I mean? Like I feel like sometimes if you look at an overly produced piece of work, and I say this because I work on podcasts all day.
Yes.
So I'm physically producing content all day. And it's hard for me to admit this. But I'm never going to get viewership. It'll look great and it'll look really high quality, and you can probably see, it's easier to sell high quality to a client, of course, because it's look at what you're getting. But if you really want to perform, mate, whip out the phone and just film and put stuff up. Like in the wise words of Gary Vee, document, don't create. Just film and just put it up, you know.
How important is it that people understand the native tools around each platform?
It is vital. And oh my God, are you kidding me? I remember a time, this was a couple of years ago, where 360 video became new.
Yes.
And I wanted to experiment with a competition for radio. So we in Australia have something called Beat the Bomb. And I put a 360 camera in our Hit 92.9 office that is no longer a station but here in Perth. And I put it in the radio studio and had a bunch of animated, graphics going off like little bombs exploding. But it's all part of the tactic or part of the arc. And it's in 360, so you can look around the room on your phone, like it's really immersive. And I was thinking, do I have to do this through YouTube? I know they used to have a thing. So it's like, do I put a link on Facebook there, whatever? And then I discovered that Facebook has 360 tools. You have the ability to post stuff in 360 on Facebook natively. And the beautiful thing about that is because users don't have to click a link to go somewhere else.
Yes.
Facebook automatically likes it more because you stay on their app. You give them attention, right? Yep. So if you're catering to their tools and you're using text within their tools and more hashtags and you're using location within Facebook, not just hashtagging it in the bottom, all of those things add up, and those platforms like you using those tools. So if you want to perform, use native tools. Same thing on TikTok. Instead of putting just text from your Instagram story and saving it, re-upload it clean on TikTok and put text to speech, whatever, do it natively.
Let's talk content choices, because obviously we've already flagged that content is the number one thing that you need to nail when it comes to what it is you're putting up on digital platforms. How do you find your niche in terms of content choices?
Well, the obvious answer is ask for feedback firstly. Like if there's a specific thing people love about you, you can, go down and really nail that. If you want to look at it on a macro point of view, you just have to post content and see what your fans like.
See what sticks.
See what sticks. Throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and just see what sticks. Like the best way to find what you're good at, and it's the same advice that I'm sure people told you when you get out of high school, is try different things and see what you like. See what you're better at. It's the same thing on socials. Like if you post the same story in 3 different formats, one of them will get more viewership. The one that's probably more colorful, the text is bigger, it's more to the point. That's where you find something that sticks with someone. And if you find that as a format, if you find that as a style, there's your niche. And then when you get to the content of it, if people start commenting on your content with like meaningful conversations, people are actually conversing. Oh, I don't know if I agree. Even if people disagree with it, that's fine.
Absolutely.
It's a meaningful conversation that starts. And that's what every algorithm loves, by the way. So yeah, if you want to find your niche, upload a whole bunch of content and see what works.
Yep. The one thing that I would say about that is that there is nothing worse than seeing someone do something that comes across as forced. That's really uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. Yep.
If you don't feel comfortable immediately with the content, it's not the right content.
People trying to be comedians as well.
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's like
especially.
I think everyone needs in their life someone who says,
You're not that funny.
You're not that funny. That's not that good.
Yeah.
That's actually not that good. I had that reality check, and I don't think it was intended to be that check in high school. and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to reel it right in and find what people like and go from there. Not that I'm a shining example of comedians, but I'm just saying you got to have someone in your life that is not afraid to say, I've seen you do better. That phrase, I think every creative needs someone in their life that says, you know what, I've seen you do better. Drive me, push me up to the next level. I thrive off those people.
Now, when it comes to quality, we've talked a lot in previous podcasts about video quality and, you know, the fact that you have a phone, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the quality in terms of socials posts and what have you, because things like branding matter, right?
Yes. Yep. Well, it does and it doesn't. What I will say with this, I have a background in obviously doing a lot of social content for businesses.
Yes.
And that's different. When you do it for yourself, it's very different. Like,
of course,
you can be a little bit more loose, you know, your language, you can swear if you want to, whatever. But if you do it for a business, mate, you can't swear.
I should have prefaced that by saying, if we're talking in the context of a student radio station.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
Branding is important.
Branding. Look, branding is always important. Like, people have to understand what platform they're on, what account they're on. You know what I mean? So what it's going to come down to is it doesn't necessarily, people think branding is a logo. It's not the logo. Sometimes it's as simple as the colours.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a student station here in Australia, Boom Radio, where you guys obviously are very involved with your students. You'll see that the logo isn't always 100% present. It's a bright orange as the colour for the station. So put the text in orange. Put a text, like a text box behind the text that is a bright, vibrant orange. And if it's on brand, it looks very good.
So one of the first things that we teach our students is to build a style guide.
Yes.
So they actually go through, you know, the colour wheel and understand complementary and what's the other word?
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah, opposite colours.
Yeah.
And understand how they work together, what colours mean, because colours are important. They actually mean different things.
It's the same way people have a white text on like a teal background. Like, you can't even see the text. You got to find the dark and shade, the light and shade rather.
Yeah.
So look, I will 100% always back up the fact that it's not necessarily a logo, but if you have a style guide in terms of your colours and how you write specifically, I think you were just talking about in news. It's like it's got to feel like it's part of the brand. Like, otherwise, you're just stealing content from someone else. It's the same thing with your branding. If you have a style, make your content according to that style, and it will be your brand. And
as an individual, if you are trying to be a content creator, you need to create your own brand as well.
Yeah, you need to. Like, you can't have 7 different styles in your last 7 videos. It just doesn't look right. So even with me, like, I wouldn't say I'm a content creator, but you can see I'm always trying to use the same sort of fonts. For example, like, it's got to be something thick, bold, and really in your face. Like, you got to stick with. It's got to be some consistency somewhere.
Let's talk about the importance of cross-platform promotion.
Oh yeah. Oh, just that? Okay.
Okay, let me try that again. Why is it important, Marcel?
Okay, well, it's a beautiful thing these days when you can actually post on multiple platforms and multiple accounts at the same time. Okay, so that's something Facebook and Meta does very well, is they have this ecosystem going. But I think what you're referring to here is the cross-platform promotion. Like, sort of, if I'm going from Instagram to TikTok to YouTube, if I'm covering all of those bases with the same content, you have to understand platforms work differently. And the beautiful thing is, like I said earlier, is these days video works. So if you can just chop your video in different formats, that's perfect. If you can do handheld for TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, you're covered. If you do a landscape video for YouTube, you're covered. So the beautiful thing is, if you know how to cater to all of these different platforms, there's going to be some way that your message gets across to the right people on those platforms. So it's never been more important to think about more things than just one. Like, you never film a video for your Instagram story and then that's it. You save it clean and then you can put it on any platform. So you got to think about what is next. This is great for Instagram, but what else? Where am I going from this? How am I covering Facebook? Am I putting a link? Like, you've got to think about how to really cover every platform.
I think it's about working smarter, not harder too, right?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Honestly, there's so many traps these days where you think that you have to do this a certain way. You have to spend so much money on your podcast equipment. Like, mate, honestly, you've got most of the stuff you need in your pocket. You can just go ahead and get started and just get your message out to the world. It's so easy. So just think about what takes you the least time possible and what gets you the best content possible and the best results possible. And that is most likely going to be on your phone. Whip it out, start filming.
So from a competitive point of view, for those students who are entering their social media posts to win, what do you think the judges are going to be looking for?
Yeah, I think the judges are, if we want to break them down, right, they're busy people.
Yes.
So think about it for this way. People that have a lot already going on in their lives are taking their time out of their days to essentially survey and judge what you have given them. So think about it like this. You want your best work first. You want your best out there straight away. If you have to submit 3 links, put your best link first. Very simple. They're going to go in a list. Put the best one first. All of these judges are already on social media.
Correct.
They've already seen what good content is.
That's right.
So what is separating you from everyone else?
Yes.
Think about how you are going to win the algorithm and you're going to win the judges.
Do you think that analytics matter in this particular arena?
Yeah, it's just, I think it's a slippery slope because I think people get stuck on followers a lot, and they get stuck on, if I don't have 10,000 followers, I don't look successful. You know what I mean? And I think people really fall into that trap. What I will say in terms of analytics, if you can prove conversion from you putting up a video, reaching people that aren't following you and then getting profile views, I think you are winning. So yes, it's important, but I think it can be a very slippery slope.
So ultimately, we're about content first.
Content is always first. Distribution, closely second. Followers, down the track. It's not important.
Next episode, we're going to be talking about promotions. Thank you for joining me once again, Marcel. I appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure.
Catch all of our podcast episodes on our website, isbc.co.